Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The NASCAR Virtual Racing Championship welcomes you to Miami Homestead. We're here in Florida today to crown our 2004 champion. I will pull up the these are the standings. Let me blow it up a little bit for you. So we got Brian Vickers leading 10 points over Jeff Burton. Then we got Greg Biffle starting second. He's 21 points back. Ryan Newman there fourth. He's 23 points back. Matt Kenseth is 24 points back. Jeff Gordon is 29 back, and Jimmy Johnson is 42 points back, starting on pole. Um, should be an interesting one here today. It'll be interesting for sure, to say the absolute least. 65 laps here at this mile and a half speedway. The inside line is going to be the way to go. Travis Kvapil held off Ron Hornaday yesterday in the Busch race to win the race. On the outside, it was a drag race. He was able to hold the momentum around the outside, but Hornaday had the faster car. He was on the inside. If it went one more lap, Hornaday would have won. But Travis Kvapil, he was able to hold off. Carl Edwards hung on to the championship and won the 2004 Busch Series championship. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Hendrick or Roush can win. Um, as we will go ahead and take a look here at the practice sheets. Brian Vickers actually led practice. Kurt Busch right there, top five. Johnson, Kenseth in there. Jeff Burton. Greg Biffle was second. And then we'll skip to, I guess, finish off practice here. We got Coy Gibbs in the field today. Martin Church Jr. he's in here. Casey Atwood. Casey Kane is in here as well. And then happy hour, Hendrick Motorsports is looking strong. Tony Stewart's improving right here. Matt Kenseth up in there. Brian Vickers down 14th. Jeff Burton right here. But then here's the main part right here. Casey Kane is sitting there 14th. You see that. Jimmy Johnson though on the pole. Greg Biffle. Ricky Craven. It's been quick. There's Jack Sprague. Ricky Craven will not be returning to that 32 car, unfortunately. He was released, told he by the team he'd be released mid-season. We'll have to see who takes over that 32 car and if that piece will be competitive. Jack Sprague as well, great qualifying run. Jeff Burton. We know how fast those Rouse guys are. But the big issue down here, Brian Vickers, 21st. He's gonna have to do some climbing if he can win this championship in his rookie season. Even if he doesn't win this championship, it'll be still an amazing rookie season. But yeah, should be a good one here.
Drivers, to your cars.
There's the drivers being called to their cars. Also, Kenny Wallace lost an engine in happy hour, so he will be told to drop to the end of the field and back up. Well, I guess change an engine at the end of happy hour. But yeah, we will get the command to fire engines, do the starting lineup, and we'll get this 65 lap finale in for you guys. We got the cars lined up, and we are ready for the command to fire engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
There is a lovely command we love to hear. The engines are fired, the cars are ready to roll. Let's get your starting lineup. Row 1 inside, we got Jimmy Johnson to his outside, Craig Biffle, Ricky Craven, and Jack Sprague. They are Hendrick Alliance. They're row 2. Row 3, Jeff Burton, Mark Martin. Row 4, 5? Row 4, Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett. And then we got Elliott Sadler, Ryan Newman, Steve Park, Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, Kurt Busch, Jay McMurray, Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, Jerry Mayfield, Brian Vickers, Bill Elliott, Casey Mears, Kevin Harvick, Sterling Marlin. Then we got the 4 and the 18. There's Kenny Wallace trying to go to the back. See where your favorite drivers starting today. Should be a good race on hand. Like I said, Travis Kvapil won his second race of the year here yesterday. What else was I gonna say? Mark Martin did win this race 1 year ago. He participated in the Busch race, got in a horrible accident, went upside down. He said he's a little shaken up today. He's gonna just take it easy, and he didn't want to step out of the car. He wanted to do all 30 races, but we'll talk about that later. Touch on it if I remember. But the pace car is in pit road. Johnson hits the throttle, and we are underway from Homestead. Ricky Craven is unable to clear Greg Biffle. They're going to be a drag race side by side. Ricky Craven's only able to hold the momentum around the high side. That's going to allow Biffle Sprague to clear. Jeff Burton, he's not going to force it 3 wide that early, especially with his teammate up there. Yeah, these guys are flying around here. There's a lot of grip out there in the track. There's Ryan Newman, followed by Matt Kenseth. We'll have to keep an eye on Brian Vickers if he can climb his way up through the field. Jimmy Johnson, he can lead the most laps. He can win the race, but he's going to need a lot of help if he wants to win this championship. Dominated, absolutely dominated last week in North Carolina at Rockingham. Fell short. Got passed in the closing laps by Jeff Burton. There's Kenny Wallace down in pit road. Not sure what happened there. I'm not really sure how many laps these guys can go on a full tank of gas. I guess we'll have to see. I imagine there'll be 1, maybe 2 stop. As Biffle's able to hold off Jack Sprague. There goes Ricky Craven to the inside. Jeff Burton's trying to find a way around both the 32 and the 0. Yeah, Kerry Earnhardt lost an engine in the race yesterday. He got hit by Johnny Sauter. Then David Stremme hit Mark Martin, and Mark Martin spun, hit the wall, and hit the wall a certain way off of 2 right there, which turned him on his side, and then he was T-boned from the underneath of the car. Went for a crazy ride. He said he's a little shaken up. He is okay. He is focused, and he wants to run this 6 car, all 30 races this season. He's doing a great job sitting 5th right now. Not in this championship fight, but takes pride in showing up to every race. There's Dale Jarrett, followed by Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth there. Elliott Sadler sitting top 10. Robert Yates is showing some good speed here. There goes Ricky Craven trying to get to the inside of Sprague. Tony Stewart, Jeff Burton trying to look to the inside. As it sits right now, Jeff Burton does have the point lead. Yeah, Greg Biffle, if he wants to win this championship, he's going to have to gain 11 more points than Jeff Burton's going to earn. And that outside line looks like it's rolling pretty good. The 32 and the 0 and the 6 have all cleared the 99. Dale Jarrett, he's going to try and go around the outside of the 99. Mark Martin's looking for a way around the 0. The 0's looking for a way around Ricky Craven. Yeah, not sure what Ricky Craven's going to be doing next season. Hopefully he lands on his feet someplace. Jeff Burton's all over the back end of Mark Martin. Mark Martin's going to shade high. Jeff Burton's going to peak low. Brian Vickers has showed 17th last time by. He's caught up behind his teammate right here. Sure, he would love to get around Jeff Gordon. There's Matt Kenseth up top, trying to get around or stay in front of Tony Stewart. I'm interested to see. Obviously, the 32 and 0 are quick. We'll have to see what the long run speed is like in those 2 cars. The first 10 laps are down, 55 to go already. Jimmy Johnson is looking for his third win of the year. Greg Biffle's looking for his second. Is Mark Martin clear right here as they're trying to go around the outside of the 0? And he's going to stay high. He's going to try to look to the outside of the 32. Biffle's going to run here on Johnson. There goes Mark Martin's able to pull the steering wheel low, and looks like he's going to try and get to the inside of the 32. If he can just clear right here. Now you saw the 32 and the 0 are kind of holding everybody up. There's kind of 2 by 2, and the front 2 are gone. Jeff Burton and Matt Kenseth are going to be the next 2 up, trying to get around the outside. The 99 is now clear. Matt Kenseth, next man up. Dale Jarrett's looking up high. That might be the way around here. Roush 88's ripping the top in the middle lane. Trying to get around the 32 and the 0. The 20, the 12, and the 2 are losing spots. Dale Jarrett's unable to clear. Now the 0 is going to pull up. That's going to slow down Elliott Sadler now. Now Ricky Craven's catching back up to Dale Jarrett. Greg Biffle can't seem to find a way around Johnson, at least yet. But Jimmy Johnson has had incredible amounts of speed in the last couple races. Four Roush cars are chasing after that 48 Hendrick car. There's Ryan Newman. Strong showing from Penske so far. There's Vickers sitting 16th right now. You got 2 teammates in front of him. Now the 0's up top. Now Kurt Busch is looking to the inside of Steve Park there. I think Vickers is in a really good lane here. If you want to roll the bottom, the outside I don't think is where you want to be. Now Vickers trying to get 15th there from Gordon. Does he try and take it 3 wide on his teammate Casey Kane? And we still don't know who's going to be in that 84 or the 33 next season, or possibly the 31, between Casey Kane and Travis Kvapil. Both very successful, both very young, as we got a battle for the lead here. Kind of. At the line, it was under a 10th, but Johnson's able to hold off Biffle for now. We got Mark Martin still holding down third. Kenseth's trying to get 4th from his teammate. Jeff Burton's trying to hang on to 4th from his teammate. Every spot, every point matters in the quest for this championship. $19 laps down here. Biffle's shading low. Nothing to show for there. As Matt Kenseth did get around Jeff Burton. You'll see these guys are super racy back here. Jeff Gordon starting to work his way up through the field. There's Brian Vickers getting underneath the 38 and the 0. If my math is right, as of last lap, the 5 and the 99 were tied. But if he can get around the 0 right here, and he does, Vickers is now your point leader once again. Elliott Sadler's going to drop underneath the 0, right in front of the 15. He's got the space for it. There goes Kurt Busch looking to the inside of Craven. He's trying to get released to catch up to the rest of the top 8 or so. There's some distance between the... Obviously the top 2 the distance is beginning to grow. And you see the 32 and the 0 have just fallen off. And it's this field trying to regain patience to get around. And Brian Vickers sits 14th right here. I believe he's got the point lead by 1 point now. He's going to look to the inside of Casey Kane. Trying to work his way forward. Sprague can't get down. McMurray gets to the inside. That'll be a spot. Yeah, the top, quite a, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, all of these top 10 or so are really starting to kind of spread apart, except for mainly the top 8. I can't talk. Top 8 are starting to spread apart. We got Ricky Craven, Steve Park, Jeff Gordon here. Sprague is going to be looking to the inside, trying to get his track position back. Casey Kane's trying to defend from Vickers for 13th. And he's got him. Clear. Tony Stewart's trying to close up to Dale Jarrett. But that's about it through. We'll get a quick flyby here. There goes Tony Stewart to the inside of Jarrett. Big gap to Kurt Busch. Everybody else flying through here. Everyone, 3 wide back there. I gotta get better with that, but there's Ricky Rudd. A couple Evernham cars struggling here today. There's Bobby Labonte back in here. Terry Labonte, this will be the last time he'll be in that one car, at least for now. Brian Vickers is up to 11th here. I believe he's got a 4-point advantage now. He's going to be stuck behind that 32. And we've got pit stops. And Greg Biffle's going to stay out and grab a lap lead. About 0.6 of a second will be fall off. So yeah, it'll be about 27 and then about 54, 55. And then we got Greg Biffle on pit road. Getting on and off pit road, getting through pit road is going to be really, really important here. Anybody stay out trying to get any extra bonus points? Does not look like it. Let's speed through here as all these cars are now starting to exit the pits. Mark Martin on Jimmy Johnson heels. On the heels of Jimmy Johnson, I cannot speak. Case Kane, Kevin Harvick coming out. So here comes Jimmy Johnson to retake the lead. Brian Vickers did stay out. Brian Vickers did lead a lap. I missed it. Brian Vickers does lead a lap. There goes Greg Biffle looking for the overcut. Can he blend? Does not look like it. Mark Martin's going to get around him. Here comes Matt Kenseth. There's Jeff Burton. He's going to be clear of Tony Stewart. They're nearly 3 wide back in through here. Harvick nearly into the back end of Casey Kane. There's Brian Vickers there. He's going to lose quite a bit. Well, maybe. If he can cycle right there in front of the 2, I think that'll be a net gain for the 5, plus a lap led. Which will be huge, and it looks like he's going to do just that. As now Mark Martin's trying to go back-to-back in Miami. Jeff Burton cycles to 5th. Vickers looks like he's going to cycle to 9th. Yeah, that was a really good cycle right there. Not only does Brian Vickers get a bonus point for leading a lap, but now he's up to 9th. So yeah, there's only technically 3 points separating them, which gives Vickers that 7-point advantage. Now for turn 2, Mark Martin's trying to catch up to Jimmy Johnson here. Don't tell me back-to-back weeks it's going to be Jimmy Johnson dominating the race and he's going to get passed by a Roush car. Mark Martin right there on that white line. This is roughly around halfway. There's Kenny Wallace right up the road, and we got a bunch of these cars all scattered about. See where everybody's cycled around here. Meanwhile, back out front, Jimmy Johnson trying to hold off Mark Martin. 33 laps down. Now we're officially over halfway. Next time by, I believe, will be 31 to go. Does Mark Martin make a move? Does he force Johnson into the high line? But if his car is set up good enough, he'd probably be able to hold off Mark Martin. Not sure what happened to Jack Sprague, but he's now outside the top 30. And Ricky Craven has now fallen outside the top 10. This time by will be 30 laps to go. There's Biffle, top 5 right there, Jeff Burton. But here comes Kurt Busch. He's got a big run. There's Kurt Busch there. Steve Park, Brian Vickers. Jimmy Johnson's going to continue to lead and hold off Mark Martin. Yeah, 1 year ago, Mark Martin ended up winning this race, and Johnson finished second. Mark Martin's trying to replicate that. Johnson's trying to flip it. See, these guys are starting to inch up on lap traffic here. Mark Martin's able to roll the center of the corner. He's going to have a tiny run here. Can he make a move here on Johnson? Not quite. I think Mark's just trying to size him up a little bit, right? We're still about 10, 15 laps away from pit stops. Right, there's a lot of race that's yet to happen. I think Mark's just trying to size him up here. And Greg Biffle's trying to catch up to Matt Kenseth there. And these two other Roush cars. Johnson had a better 3 and 4, was able to pull away from Mark there. Jeff Gordon was 3/10 quicker than Vickers. Next time by will be only 25 laps to go. There goes Ryan Newman to the inside of Ricky Craven there. Kevin Harvick was looking to the inside of Gordon. There goes Tony Stewart to the inside of Kurt Busch. He's able to defend. As I was in the back, Mark Martin had a run on Johnson. He looked to the inside, but Johnson's able to run the middle of the track. He's able to hold off Mark Martin. Let's go see how Mark made the move. Yeah, he had a run off a 2. Was able to shade low. Showed Johnson his nose. Johnson respected it. But that 48 car is hooked up. I mean, it's going to come down to this last pit stop and who can make the right adjustments with about 10-15 to go. Mark is going to be showing a headlight. Can't quite get there yet. Alpha 4, they are catching Kenny Wallace in that RCR 33. Way back there, Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart are battling side by side. Here comes Mark Martin. He's going to have a decent run here off the corner. I just don't think he's quite close enough. Coming to 22 laps to go. Time's ticking. Here you go. They are catching up to Kenny Wallace there. Greg Biffle's made a move to the inside of Matt Kenseth. Johnson's going to look low here. Kenny Wallace is going to drop down. 43 of John Andretti. He's in pits. This will be the last race John Andretti's going to be at for Richard Petty. They're going to be rebranding to Richard Petty Motorsports. And, oh, Mark Martin right there. Is he going to try and fit it 3 wide there? They will be rebranding to Richard Petty Motorsports, and they are dropping the 45, and they will only be the 43 as they try and rebrand. And we got a new leader coming to 20 laps to go here. Mark Martin around the outside. And he is clear. But now, the 33, that was set up because of the 33, but now he's going to the inside. Does Johnson pull the same move that Mark did to him? He's able to get a really good run here, and he is now clear, maybe? Clear. Now Jimmy Johnson's going to have to find a way around Mark Martin. There's Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Jeff Burton still holding down the top 5. There's Dale Jarrett. These guys are still battling around top 10. We're a little less than 10 laps away from pit stops as Kenny Wallace now got to run to the inside of Mark Martin. Kenny Wallace is fighting to try and stay 1 lap down. Bobby Labonte now lost a lap. Mark Martin, you saw it right there, got really, really loose. Had to catch it, was able to catch it. And now Jimmy Johnson's looking high in the 33, excuse me. Trying to pinch the 33. The 6 is clear. The 48's there. Now Mark Martin can run his line and his race. Johnson, is he going to be clear of the 33? The 33 throttles up in the middle of the corner, and he's still there on Jimmy. He is not giving Jimmy Johnson a break. That's going to be really, really frustrating for Jimmy Johnson to be back-to-back weeks leading, dominating these races to get passed by none other than the Roush cars. Johnson's now clear of the 33. '22 is blowing up down here on the front stretch. It's like he did blow up in the middle of 3 and 4, but now he's going to be down there on the apron. There go the leaders by. We'll have to see if NASCAR decides to throw a yellow. He's coming back up on track. Going to keep it down around the apron. NASCAR said if he can get it down in the access road, it will not be a yellow, and it is not going to be a yellow. Now, Greg Biffle's looking to the inside of Matt Kenseth. We are less than a handful of laps away from pit stops. That last time by was 15 laps to go. Glad Ward Burton was able to make it to the pits safely. Now Mark Martin gets to dictate the pace of the race as he tries to hold off Jimmy Johnson for 14 more laps. There goes Kurt Busch looking to the inside of his teammate. Tony Stewart's going to try and get around the outside of Kurt Busch there. He does that for now. Kurt Busch is going to lift and let him back in. Now again, I'm going to say it one more time, getting on and off pit road, getting into the pit box, the pit crew's got to do their job. It's going to come down to, do they make an adjustment? It's going to be a short run here. Right, that might benefit the 48 if he can pit maybe a little sooner. We'll kind of go through the field here. Elliott Sadler lost a lot of spots. So did Mayfield. McMurray's back in there. Jack Sprague barely inside the top 30 after qualifying in the top 5. There's Casey Atwood's at 22nd. Andretti's a lap down. Steve Park. There's Bill Elliott. Keith Kane 16th. There's Nemechek. There's Ryan Newman. Bobby Labonte's a lap down. Ricky Craven still 13th. Now there's Brian Vickers. Down on some momentum. Does Jeff Gordon make a move? He does. Does Kevin Harvick go with him? Jeff Burton's in pit road. Jeff Burton's pitting early. Trying to get off strategy. Trying to do something. He's got to win this championship. 11 laps to go this time by. Vickers and Gordon are going to be side by side here. Kevin Harvick there. Dale Jr. trying to go to the inside of the 5. Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin pits. Johnson's looking for the overcut, trying to get back ahead of the 6. As the 5, the 24, the 29, they're all going to stay out. There goes Kurt Busch looking to the inside of the 20. This is all going to matter too with lap traffic, and the 33 is blowing up. Is that going to cause a yellow? There might be oil in the groove in 1 and 2. We stay green for now. Greg Biffle. I'm not sure if he has led a lap yet or not, but he's going to grab a lap lead and a bonus point. And now Ricky Rudd is down on the apron. Not sure what happened to Ricky Rudd. I'm not sure what happened to Ricky Rudd at all, but he's down there. He's saying he's out of gas. The 21 said he's out of fuel, or it's not picking up fuel the way it needs to. I had to sneeze. Mark Martin gets tagged by Ricky Craven. Nearly gets tattooed by his teammate Matt Kenseth. Jeff Burton gets through. And that's going to bring the yellow out if the yellow wasn't already out. Let's go see what happened here to bring the yellow out. So here's the reason for the yellow. Kenny Wallace stopped on the apron. Their car was not traveling no more. And then, let's go see if we can find old Mark Martin. Was leading this race, comes out of the pits, right? Pace car is going to go pick up these guys. I don't know if there's much damage to that 6 car, but tries coming out of the pits, cuts Ricky Craven off, thought Ricky Craven would lift and let him in, but I guess not. And what that has done, that has trapped the 99 others a lap down, and Brian Vickers sits 11th right now. We're going to have to see how everything cycles. And now Dale Jarrett's on the apron smoking. He's got right front damage. What has happened to Dale Jarrett? It's supposed to happen under yellow here. Whoa. Comes back up here. Oh, gets into the back of the 99. He's going to go ahead and pit here. We'll see how everything cycles here, and we'll be right back. Alright, we're going to get a restart here with 5 laps to go. If you look in the top left corner, there are the car numbers and where we'll be restarting. Jeff Burton will be back at the pack. He's 29th. Greg Biffle sits 5th. Brian Vickers sits 9th. Jimmy Johnson up front leading. Kurt Busch 2nd. Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth 4th. And like we said, Greg Biffle's going to be 5th there. There's going to be a lot of lap traffic. We're going to get restarted with 5 laps to go. Can Jimmy Johnson hang on? He's going to have to pass 3, 6, 8 lap cars, I believe it is, to try and win his 3rd win of the year. And we are green with 6 laps to go on Bobby Labonte. I don't know if he caught it, but he hung a left. He's got a tire down. Slows way down, gets down and out of the way. Meanwhile, back out front, Jimmy Johnson's going to hang a left. Kevin Harvick has had a pretty poor season. Unfortunately, he's up to 2nd now. Battling side by side with Kurt Busch. It's going to be 4 laps to go this time by. 4 to go for Jimmy Johnson. There's Casey Mears right in front of the 48. Couple Ganassi cars. Here comes Harvick with the big run. Matt Kenseth is going to have a big run. Harvick's looking to the inside. Harvick's there on Johnson. Matt Kenseth is going to be looking to the inside of the 48 or the 29. Looks like Mears is going to get to run around Sterling Marlin. Harvick gets up. Johnson gets down. I thought right there Harvick was going to be challenging for the lead. But instead, it actually ended up working out perfectly for Johnson. That is really interesting when they start doing bumpers like that. But Kevin Harvick is not giving up top. He's going to have to get around Dave Blaney somehow. At the line, give it to Johnson, but not by much. Now the 43 is going to be down low. That's going to check everybody up. And Harvick's going to try and get a run around the top. 43 pulls back up. That's going to check the outside laying out. It's like Daytona or Talladega. Trying to pick which lane you want to run in. Now the 43 is going to be stuck up top. It's going to be the white flag this time by. That's going to kill the outside line. Johnson is now clear. White flag is out. Final lap. Jimmy Johnson is all by himself. That's going to give a big run here. If Johnson can't get around the 41, Matt Kenseth is going to have a huge run. Brian Vickers sits 7th. That might be good enough for the championship. Johnson's going to look low on Mears. I don't think Kenseth will be able to get there. He's going to try through 3 and 4 one final time. Off of turn 4, Jimmy Johnson wins at Homestead. And I believe Brian Vickers will be your 2004 Cup Series champion. Unbelievable. And here are your official results here. Everybody will get through there. See where your favorite driver ended up finishing. There's Brian Vickers. Jimmy Johnson did end up winning the race. Congratulations to Hendrick there in Chevrolet. There's the 4072 there. I think something happened between him and Terry, but congratulations. And we'll get the official points here, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so this is the updated points following Homestead. We got Vickers winning the championship over Biffle, Matt Kenseth. Jeff Burton there, 27 back was Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Johnson, 32 back. Newman, 40 back. Joe Nemechek did finish out top 10 in points. I had a Kurt Busch, Mark Martin. Yeah, Tony Stewart down to 23rd. Kind of disappointing. We'll have to see what they can do next year. But yeah, I will make another video recapping this season with the other series. And then once everything is done for 2005, I'll make a preseason video. And yeah, and we'll get ready for the shootout. But thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.